Like as a black kid moving into Oshawa, I was probably one out of 3 black kids in my school. And I would do whatever it took to fit in.
What kind of messages do you remember about what success looked like for you as a child?
Our first house, I wasn't old enough to remember, so I don't even recall it, but we were in Pickering in a really small townhouse. And that was our first start. And I kept seeing my parents get bigger houses, better stuff over time.
You're an entrepreneur because you created something?
I think there's a different mindset with entrepreneurs.
This is The Who Project, a show that explores how self-perception shapes who we are, where we come from, and where we're going. Because growth is not always about becoming someone new. Sometimes it's about seeing ourselves clearly enough to become who we were always capable of being. And sometimes life forces that question upon us. What does it take to keep building when life gives you every reason to stop? Success is easy to admire from the outside, but what we don't always see is the pressure behind it, the loss behind it, the self-doubt behind it. The moments when someone has to decide whether they're going to break, retreat, or rebuild. My guest today, Zechariah Thomas, has lived that kind of story. But this conversation is not really about what he's built. It's about who he had to become in order to build it. So today we explore loss, rebuilding, identity, purpose, leadership, and what happens when someone learns to trust themselves enough to keep becoming. This is The Who Project. Zechariah, welcome to The Who Project, and thank you for being part of the conversation today.
Super happy to be here.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I've always been interested in people who build things, not the companies they create, but the person behind them. And in your case, what stands out for me is that you built something bigger than a business. You built something around belief, around access, around possibility. But the conversation is not really about hockey or entrepreneurship or even recognition. It's about the person behind the work, who you learn to become, how identity shaped ambition, and what happens when someone moves from feeling overlooked to building something that helps others feel seen. So today, I want to explore identity, self-belief, resilience, failure, reinvention, and how the way we see ourselves shapes who we become. So like I said to you, I really wanted to start with family origin.
Yeah.
Because I think everything starts with your family and how you begin to develop as a young person, or as a child, and then into your adult life. What was life like growing up for you?
Yeah, life was good growing up. Honestly, I have really good parents. My parents worked really hard, and I grew up in Whitby, Ontario, and kind of going through the ranks of, the city actually growing with me at that time. Similar as we talked a little bit before, it's like the city just kept growing and growing and growing. So I grew up in Whitby, and then I moved down the street to Oshawa.
Oh, you crossed the border.
I moved 10 minutes across the border to Oshawa, and I was honestly culture shocked. Like, as weird as that sounds, I was culture shocked by hockey.
Why?
And, it was everywhere. Like in Oshawa, it's everywhere. Like you have the Oshawa Generals. Okay. Everyone's playing hockey 24/7. Even at recess. That? Yeah.
Whitby's like that too, right?
Not as bad.
No, really?
Yeah. Okay. I was like, Whitby's still a really big hockey city, but I wasn't culture shocked by it.
Okay.
And wanting to fit in as well. Like as a black kid moving into Oshawa, I was probably one out of 3 black kids in my school. And I would do whatever it took to fit in. And I ended up playing hockey at recess, and I loved it. Kind of my start, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because there's a lot of similarities in our stories here. Yeah. So what kind of kid were you?
I was
a happy kid.
Yeah, you know what? I was a happy kid for sure.
Yeah,
like I was always a kid that was super curious. I would say I was super curious as a kid. I questioned a lot. Not too much, but I questioned a lot for sure. Like not somebody that was getting out annoying questioning things, but questioned a lot throughout my life. Yeah. So
when you moved to Oshawa, did you fit in seamlessly, or was it a bit of a bumpy ride?
I moved to Oshawa at about 9 or 10 years old. So that was kind of my move into Oshawa. And I was still young enough to make friends in school. So it wasn't like too difficult.
Right.
But I was still culture shocked by like that move with hockey as well. And losing all my friends that were in Whitby. It was kind of a new environment for me.
Did you understand why your parents moved, and were you angry about that?
I understood. Like we moved from a small house to a big house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I was like Oshawa was still developing. Like it was super developing. I knew we grew up in North Oshawa when we were like maybe the first 10 houses there.
Oh, wow.
First 10, 20 houses there. Now we have buildings, apartments, like it's all everything's there now. Maybe hundreds, thousands of houses there.
Yeah.
We're like the first 20. And we moved there to have like, my parents moved there to have a better stability. You have a much bigger house, same price.
So, so they're experiencing success.
Yeah.
And they wanted to show, their family that they could do it. So what kind of messages do you remember about what success looked like for you as a child?
Yeah. You know what? My parents, they're both first generations. They're not even first. I'm the first generation. They both came from Jamaica actually at young ages. And our first house, I wasn't old enough to remember, so I don't even recall it, but we were in Pickering in a really small townhouse. And that was our first start. And I kept seeing my parents get bigger houses, better stuff over time.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I didn't really realize what was going on. Just like a bigger house, I have a bigger bedroom, more toys at that time. And I kept seeing that. And now as I'm getting older, like I realize a lot more that was going on, like how hard they worked to get that.
Yeah. Yeah. So they just kept moving further east. Wow. Yeah. So as a child, did you naturally believe in yourself, or were there moments, in your life where you were like, I don't know if I'm good at that. I don't know if I'm, if I'm that kid, like super confident.
Yeah. And that's something, that's a really good point, because I was always delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was super delusional as a kid, but I was real with my delusion.
Do tell, man.
Yeah, it's a super weird mix, because I knew at the youngest age, like I wasn't going to be the next Cindy Crosby in the NHL. I really didn't know that. I was like, I was super real with myself. Like I was playing against some of the best players in the world at AAA levels. And like, you could see there was levels to the game.
Right.
And I knew I wasn't there. And growing up, I knew I wasn't going to be there, but I knew I was good enough and better than most of the people as well. But I knew I wasn't going to be the next NHL superstar.
How old were you when you made that?
Maybe 13. Okay. Yeah.
So remember I said to you that Cole stopped playing at 13?
Yeah.
You know what he said to me? He said, Dad, let's face it, I'm never going to play in the NHL. Right. Yeah. And at that point, he was playing AA. No, he was playing A, sorry. He made the AA team. And he just didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. Right. He saw that. So it's really interesting, because I thought that was just uniquely to him, but you just said it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was playing AAA.
Yeah.
I was scoring all the goals. Like I was doing everything, but like I knew, like I played against like Cole Caulfield, like so all these like high-end players, Perfetti, Byfield, like some of the best players that are in the NHL right now I was playing against. And they were scoring 10 goals a game. Like that was kind of the difference level. Like I was not scoring 10 goals a game. I may have one goal every 2 games, but I kind of knew there was a difference.
So how did that make you feel? And how did that shape your identity at that time?
Yeah, you know what? My biggest dream was to go to an NHL camp. Like I really wanted just the opportunity to go to an NHL camp and just show my talent. I knew I had a good feeling I wasn't going to be a lottery pick, because I didn't grow up in a good system. My parents didn't have any hockey background, didn't get drafted to the OHL. I didn't get drafted to any of these drafts. And I really just wanted some sort of opportunity to be seen at the NHL level. Like that was honestly the goal. And after that, I could retire. Like that was my mission the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
And so did it happen?
A little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
I ended up going to Arizona camp. My friend brought me on to like one of their pre-camp camps.
Okay.
So my friend brought me on, and I wasn't supposed to be there. Like I was just with him for a second, because he was NHL draft pick there, signed player there. Uh-huh. So he brought me along, and I wouldn't say that was like the fulfillment of my dream, but I got to that point where I ended up playing major junior and like I was getting more satisfied. And when I was playing major junior, which was OHL level, one of the highest levels I could play at,
Mm-hmm.
COVID hit.
Wow.
And then I knew that opportunity of me getting there was getting much more difficult because I was getting so older. I was getting so much older.
Right.
And the older I get, I'm less desirable in a sense.
Right. So that's interesting. Where were you with school at that point? Because you've talked openly about how you struggled at school. So was it like, am I going to go to school? Am I going to play hockey? Like where were you at that moment?
I was a horrible student, always. I was always such a horrible student. And my parents were okay with it. That's something really weird that looking back on it, my parents were never like, do this, study, 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 study. Like they were never like that. They were really open about me chasing my dreams and doing what I need to do to be successful. And both my parents, my dad was good in school. My mom was horrible in school. So they really understood that I didn't need school to be successful. And if I didn't have that push, like if I had different parents, my parents were pushing me at school, there's no chance I would be where I was. I wouldn't even be playing hockey.
You wrote a post on LinkedIn, and man, I was this one blew me away, right? Where the opening hook is like, I got expelled.
Yeah, it was. I was always an entrepreneur too, always, honestly. And even going into school, like as soon as I got accustomed to school, it took me like a year or two. I was selling bracelets and hats out of my backpack at recess. Like that was kind of the kid I was. Like I was on Facebook Marketplace at 13 years old, selling items, selling my mom's couch. Like I was doing everything. And I ended up getting, like I talked about it pretty publicly, like I ended up getting expelled for that, for selling anything on school premises, even though the teachers were buying from me, the principal was buying from me, everyone was buying from me. But one teacher didn't like it, so I ended up getting suspended. And my parents never held back my dreams.
That was the part.
Yeah.
That was the part, man, where you said that night, my dad sat me down and he didn't crush my dream. He said, you have to find another place to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, I had the grin on my face. I was like, your dad is badass. Like, I love that, man. Like, you have I don't know if you really know like that magnitude of what he did. Like that was a huge moment.
Yeah.
So kudos to Mr. Thomas, because wow, it could have gone in a complete different way. And so you've always had that. Are your parents entrepreneurs?
Yes. Yeah.
So here's a data thing. I was just talking to a good friend of mine this morning. He's an entrepreneur. And I said, I'm trying to understand, right, the mindset of the entrepreneur. Right, because if your parents are an entrepreneur, you might be more likely to become an entrepreneur than if your parents work for somebody and then you just understand that that's what you do. So this is a great data point. Both of your parents are entrepreneurs?
Yeah, both my parents were entrepreneurs. My mom worked regular jobs forever, but she always had that entrepreneur side to her. Like she's always doing something on the side, entrepreneur.
Love it.
And my dad owns alarm and security company.
So that's where it came from.
Yeah. It really came from them not wanting, they never held me back. Like I always had a little bit of crazy ideas to do certain things. They never held me back. And honestly, like I still don't think of my parents as entrepreneurs. Like I think there's a little bit different. I feel like they're business owners. And I classify those things as two different. Like they really run a business and I'm more of the entrepreneur, I feel like. The biggest thing I instilled from my parents, and especially my dad, is that he still to this day works 15 hours a day. That was the number one thing I took from them. And without that, there's no chance I would have been an entrepreneur.
So explain to me a little bit further. Are you thinking, is your thought that you're an entrepreneur because you created something?
I think there's a different mindset with entrepreneurs. I think it's a whole different thing. I think there's business owners and people who run and operate a business, but an entrepreneur is somebody that will die for their business. Like they will do whatever it takes to make sure that business survives. They'll deal with paying the bills on time, the pain, the rent, the office lease, whatever it is, every single day, the payroll, trying to do whatever it takes to catch the payroll on Friday. And my parents didn't necessarily have that. They were like solo entrepreneurs, probably the better way to put it. Where as an entrepreneur, I'm trying to win and grow billion-dollar brand in a sense.
Yeah, you're looking to scale.
I'm looking to be the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents were just looking to survive and like grow a big business in their sense. But I'm looking to be Nike.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the difference.
I love it.
Yeah.
I heard it here.
Yeah.
He's looking to be Nike.
Yeah.
Man, do you think you have something to prove?
I really, I put that in my brain. Like I do put that, like I do have something to prove.
To who?
I think there were so many people that doubted me, even still. I think every single day I have even the biggest, a lot of stuff I can't talk, but like the biggest CEOs of our competitors are messaging us saying, we're not going to do this. And that's what I love. I love that so much. The biggest billion-dollar companies, their biggest CEOs, the highest paid people on their staff, the owners are messaging us saying, we're crap, we're not going to do this. And I love that. And growing up throughout my life being black hockey player, I heard it all, honestly.
Yeah.
I heard all of it. And
I'm sure you
I
did.
wasn't supposed to get to the point where I did, even in my career, going from AAA. No one thought I would have made even junior hockey. And then from junior hockey, no one thought I was going to make me a major junior. And like I was always underdog.
So that drives you.
Yeah.
Would you say that drives you in a positive way, or does it drive you in a negative way?
It drives me in a positive way. Like I think a lot of myself is I will create enemies to work harder. Like my brain will create problems to make myself work harder.
Wow.
And I live a lot better under pressure.
Wow.
Like I perform really well under pressure. And even if that's like dumb things like getting a bill or buying an office that we can't afford at the time, like I love that pressure. I really do.
So you thrive in that space.
Super thrive under that pressure. And I create that pressure, even though
that is so interesting.
My parents don't understand. Nobody understands it. Like I'll go at the time when we first got started, we were in a storage unit and we couldn't even afford the storage unit. Like I'm sitting there and I love that survival stage of scrapping as much as I can, selling, like having that pressure to sell items every single week to make that monthly payment for the storage unit, or even now for the office or all of our expenses, our payroll. I love that survival stage of doing whatever it takes to get there.
So you've talked about setbacks as well.
Yeah.
Right. And those challenges, how do you get through those?
Setbacks are every single day. I deal with setbacks every single day. I say my faith is super strong. Like I say, that's something I'm super passionate about, and it helps me continue to go through things every single day, just having trust.
Man, that's profound, because yeah, you're right. You know, you're running a business, you're trying to scale a business, you're going up against the biggest out there.
Yeah.
And yet there's something that's inside of you that keeps telling you you can do it. Are there ever moments where you say, I can't? Ever?
Never. I've never thought I couldn't do something. I'm extremely delusional. Extremely. Like that's the number one thing anyone will say about me from the staff we have. I'm like the most delusional person in the world.
You're just going to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Even if it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And I'll make sure it works. Like I'll create that pressure to make sure it works. There's no other choice. Like if we have a $50,000 bill on the Friday and it's Wednesday, I'll make sure we'll do whatever it takes to get there.
And you were always like this?
Always. And business is like, I love business because that's the pressure. You can't create that pressure anywhere else. There's no other avenue in life where I can create that pressure where you'll have a bill on Friday and you have one day to catch it. In hockey and sports, there's nothing I could do in a day radius to be a 70x better athlete. There's nothing I could do or do anything to catch something in that time. And that's what I love, is having that pressure every single day.
Have you So I talk about these mirror moments, right? And so you've given me one already where we talked about you recognizing that, okay, I'm very self-aware. I'm not going to play hockey professionally. Tell me about the moment where you decided, okay, I'm going to do these sticks. Like how did you're transitioning out of playing professionally, and you get this idea, right? And so I'm trying to get really deep into your psyche, right?
Yeah.
Like what made you what was how did the idea come about, and what made you feel in the moment that you could do that?
This idea with me was always there.
Oh,
It was always there a little bit. Growing up in Oshawa, it was when I moved to Oshawa, it was a time where the GM plant was closing down.
okay.
And that's something I don't, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing and talk about my story so much, I'm realizing why things happen. But the GM plant closed down. And even kids at my school, they didn't have lunch. They couldn't eat dinner sometimes. My teammates, hockey's the most expensive sport in the world. They couldn't afford hockey equipment. They couldn't afford the league fees. And I saw that at a young age. And the number one thing that happened, I kept seeing hockey sticks break. They kept breaking. And I worked at Sport Check growing up.
Okay.
And like I was giving away my 60% discount to all my teammates.
Wow.
Like that was kind of who I was.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the long-term solution years down the line. Like I didn't know what the fix was going to be, but I did know that I could make a difference later down the line. Like I was always making that difference. I was always a kid. My mom would pack an extra lunch for me to go to school with. Like I would bring an extra hockey stick. I would use my discount to help my teammates, whatever I could to help.
So give me the year it shifted. Give me the year where you went from, yeah, I'm doing all those things you just said, but now I'm actually gonna make a stick.
It's COVID. That's what really happened. Like as I said, like I was still chasing that dream of going to the NHL camp and like still playing hockey. Like I knew I could have played pro. I could have made good money out in Europe and done a bunch of those things. But COVID happened and it changed my whole trajectory in life. And at that time I had no schedule, no hockey, no life. Like that's kind of how I frame it in my head. Like I had nothing. And instead of sitting down like a lot of people and just watching Netflix all day, I went right to what I call YouTube University. Like I spent months on learning everything I could about business and read, going by house, like probably 150 books I've read.
Coming from the kid that said he didn't like,
I was a horrible
student.
Horrible student. Like I read every single book to become the best version of myself when it came to business. And I shifted into creating a bunch of businesses, drop shipping, e-commerce, and then I failed so many of those businesses, ended up doing well in a couple of those. And my dad and my parents sat me down as well and said, I got to do something more meaningful.
So wait, you just told me you failed. You failed.
Yeah.
So how do you see failure then?
It's failure is sometimes the wrong way to put it. Like I think I needed to fail. Like I needed some things to happen throughout my life. And if I didn't, I needed to fail.
Yeah.
It's a lesson. It was a lesson for me.
Well, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I think, if you try something and it doesn't work, you might just give up.
Yeah.
But you didn't.
That's kind of been my number one thing is like, I wouldn't do well in a business. I realized the business wouldn't do well. And instead of waiting, like I didn't have a buffer period. I don't have a buffer period anywhere in my life. Like it's so fast. And I would fail a business. Next day I'm starting something else. Like a next second, like a next hour. Like I would not wait.
Really?
Yeah, not at all.
So what gave this business enough traction then?
It was,
that you're not accepting failure to move on.
Yeah, it was a thing where I was super passionate about.
Yeah.
It's really hard to shift from something you're super passionate about, even if you're failing, you're losing every month, whatever the case is, like it's hard to shift from something passionate. But when I was sitting there and I was selling bikinis and girls' clothing, I can shift from that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't, I don't have a meaning for that. And making that shift into hockey sticks and giving back to the community ultimately, and seeing the joy and the change we're doing in people's life was super meaningful.
I can totally understand that
Yeah.
and appreciate that. I've done things and then they don't work out and you just move on.
Yeah.
Right. And so we talked about this before we started recording, purpose and contribution, right? So there's purpose and contribution is what you're doing. And that's why you can totally lean into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. You're an interesting young man, Zechariah. How does that show up in your life today? You know, what did let's start here. What did people misunderstand about you the most as an entrepreneur?
Everything. I think I was super misunderstood. The passion that I have from it, I think people don't understand that. Like they see so many headlines or so many news. We were listed on Forbes list, like all these crazy
Congrats.
things that have happened. And people don't see all of the pain, all of the problems that I dealt with to get to those points. And they see we were listed on Forbes list and now I'm Hollywood. Like that's kind of the thing. Like people don't see the true passion of why I'm doing this.
You know, that was a question I was going to ask you is with all this newfound success or notoriety, what kind of pressure does that put on you?
Puts on a lot. Yeah. I would say even yesterday, for example, I was out with my girlfriend at dinner and people came up to us saying they recognize me. And that's insane pressure. And like, I'm not even in Oshawa, like I'm downtown Toronto. And this was yesterday. So it would have been, what day are we on? Thursday? Like it would have been Thursday night.
Yeah.
And people are recognizing me and recognizing the business and what we have done. And that's super meaningful to me.
Yeah, for sure it is.
Yeah. It means like we're doing
You're
something.
doing it right.
Correct.
You're doing it right.
Yeah, we're doing something good.
Yeah.
And we'll never stop that.
Yeah. So how do you stay grounded then? How do you do that, man?
It's really difficult.
You're young.
Yeah.
You're
really
young.
difficult.
You're seeing this trajectory of success. How do you stay grounded in all of this? I know you mentioned your faith, but what else?
I'm so thankful. Like my faith is number one for sure, but I'm just so thankful for even waking up every day. And that's how I've been able to keep going, is where I'm thankful for the house I live in. Like I'm not sitting there asking for $1 billion ever. And I changed a lot of my life where I'm just so thankful for every single day. And I'm just so grateful for even being alive every day. And like, that's been the most important thing for me, is where I'm not doing too much crazy stuff. Like I'm just thankful. I'm really thankful for everything.
Well, you're working hard.
Yeah.
Right? You're around the clock. What's more important to you today? Success or impact?
I would say impact.
Why?
I want to be able to impact people's life even when I'm not here. And I think success, notoriety is cool. And like, that's what everybody sees, the highlights, the press, the blogs. But we're at a stage now where they're nice, but we really need that impact. We need more impact.
Well, you know, it's one of the things you brought on because you did it successfully, right?
Yeah.
You know, you being of that generation, you know, the generation you're in, you really understand social media.
Yeah.
So, and what you're posting is landing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that comes, you like to say, par for the course, right? You're gonna have those moments, and they're gonna continue. And the more you get involved in community, the more you get involved with businesses and doing stuff like this, even people they're gonna recognize you even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of leads me to this part where I talk about truth, right? Which is trust yourself, root in core values, understand your narrative. How do you transcend a narrative? And then we talk about, you know, harnessing your superpowers. So how do you trust yourself in all of this, even when you feel uncertain about things? Because you must. I mean, there's got to be times where you must feel a little uncertain. So how do you get through that?
I never trust myself. Like I trust God more than anything. Like honestly, my faith is just so strong. Like I never put that trust in myself. And having my faith that strong has been super helpful.
Okay. I mean, that's a great answer. That is a really great answer, because what I'm taking away from that is that this is bigger than you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the God's plans for me to fail, whatever it is, like I trust the journey. Like that's why I'm so thankful for every single day.
Tell me about your core values. What are some non-negotiable core values for you, my friend?
Speed. That's the number one thing I would say. Speed. Like I want to be able to figure things out quickly, do things fast. Like even when I was saying the businesses earlier where I would fail a business and I'm going on to the next one, there's no gap period. Like I will launch a business within 2 days rather than, I know some people, I have people around me take them years to even launch a business or launch a podcast, for example. Like take them years and years to even get there. I'll launch that in a day and I'll try it in a day. Even if it'll look like crap, it may not perform well. I will see what's going to happen within a day. That's been my number one non-negotiable.
Wow. I'm letting that sit for a second, man. I'm letting that sit because, yeah, there's no fear there.
No.
There's no fear.
Yeah. And
did I see you doing pickleball?
Yeah. Yeah, we do pickleball now.
I was like, that's so dope. I was like, that's so smart.
Yeah. And you know what? People will sit there and be like, how was I able to do this by 23? Like that's like I haven't been on anywhere where I haven't had that question is how was I able to do this by 23? And the difference is people will sit there and linger about this idea for those 10 years.
So you notice I didn't ask you that question because this is really not about the business, right?
Yeah.
This is really about you, right? And the person behind that and the person that built it. Because I mean, sure, we people can talk about that, but everything that we do, everything that we accomplish in this world is how you see yourself. I believe that wholeheartedly. And so you see yourself and you're walking in a different light. I like to say you're in a different frequency. You're right. You're on a different frequency than most people, and that's hard to deal with.
Yeah.
And clearly your parents saw that light in you, and they nurtured that, and that's how you've come out on the other end. So I don't care how old you are, right? It's what you did. It was because of where it all started. That's where it all started. And how it just that story arc just climbed, man. And I see greatness inside of you, because most people, never mind your age, but most people never even have what you're talking about, and that's, so I think it's really important, our conversation, because my hope, right, is that maybe there's a young Black kid somewhere, right? Or maybe there's some Asian kid, or say maybe some Canadian kid, or whatever, some kid, period, man, right? That's hearing this story that might not have done well at school, that might be the minority in school, right? And this little girl, little boy is going to hear this story, or their parents can hear this story and say, hey, you got to listen. Hey, go check this guy out, right? And that's the inspiration, and that's the gift, that I think that you're giving the world. I'm going to stop there and go on here. What part of your story shaped you more than people realize?
It was my early days. So I kind of said where I kept seeing the same problems happen over and over again. And I think it's really difficult to start a business without seeing a problem. Same as the podcast, as we talked about as well. Like you have to see that problem. You have to be passionate about fixing that problem as well.
Yeah.
Where people may not be heard, people may not be voiced out. And in business, especially in the hockey industry, there was no one doing what we're doing. There was nobody. And the difference is there was blackout sticks. There's a bunch of just really boring products, but there was no brand standing on this point ever.
All right. Well, tell the audience what the point is, please.
To make hockey more affordable, more accessible.
Thank you.
We really want to make sports more accessible. Like that's what it comes down to now. And growing up, I know your son probably was a really big factor of this as well, where the kids around him that didn't have sports, they're dead, they're in jail, they're no longer with us.
Yeah.
Like that was the difference for
Yeah.
me. And even growing up in Oshawa, every single kid I knew that wasn't involved in those things are no longer with us. They're doing drugs, they're in jail. Like that was kind of the life path. And me opening up sports and accessibility in sports to other people should change that. Like I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Whew, I love that, man. That's a powerful message. That is a very powerful message. Is there any old beliefs that you're learning to let go of? Does anything haunt you from being a kid?
A lot of learning. Like it was a lot of learning for sure. And like I look back on it, it's so funny now. And sometimes the learning will take me years like to really understand it. But it's been a lot of learning, a lot of faults. Like I remember when I was a young age, when I was failing businesses, I was doing well in businesses. I ended up selling one of my businesses and I blew all of that money within a year, all of it. And I remember looking back at that and even think about it now. It's like where, if I had all that money, where Swift would have been now. But I think that lesson has put me in this position to keep going. I do think there's always a plan.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Wow. Second last question.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think your superpower is.
My number one superpower would be speed. That'd be my number one superpower. Something I'm so passionate about. Even my staff, they can't hear me shut up about speed. Like every single second, I'm on top of speed. And I'll do whatever it takes to do things faster and get things out faster. It's been my number one thing. And even like that question, like everyone's asking me, how did I do it in 23 years or last 3 years? Like, how did I grow a company to this stage? It's speed. Like people will sit there and plan out a business plan for like the next year.
Yeah.
And honestly, like even to this date, we have staff, we have operations, we have offices. We do week by week.
Come on.
Yeah. We still do week by week. We've never been a month ahead. Even on product launches, we are not that far ahead. We do week by week.
Wow.
Yeah. Super weird. We're definitely going to change that over time.
Yeah. I was
But
gonna
for
ask
sure,
you,
we have to change that over time.
scaling.
But like right now, we're week by week. It's like, I have an idea for a piece of content. It's going out that day.
How involved are you in that?
Super involved. A little bit too involved. Like that's kind of that's maybe a little bit of my superpower too, is that marketing aspect. Like we have been able to grow to the stage we're at with almost no paid advertisement in the early days. Everyone knew about us, and then we start paying paid advertisement. So that's been arguably the biggest thing that we've been able to do and stay alive. Where, remember, we were featured in an NHL article a while ago when I first started, and it talked about another former NHL player that tried this and failed. Like there's been so many people that tried something similar and failed really fast, especially in the hockey stick industry. And the number one thing that's been able to keep us alive is our organic marketing.
Yeah.
Like everyone knows us at this point.
Yeah.
Everyone in the hockey industry knows us.
Yeah, for sure. Speed.
Yeah. Speed.
That's definitely not the answer I was thinking that you were going to give me, but I love it though.
And volume. I think volume's something super important too.
Yeah.
Like I don't talk about this enough. I talk about it to my staff a lot, but we post 500 times a week.
Come on.
Yeah. 500 at the bare minimum, 500 times a week. Not one single one of our billion-dollar competitors can compete with that. We do more than anyone else.
You got a whole team.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, so when I ask you about your superpower, okay, you give me speed, give me volume. You know what I see? Can I share that? I see you as you're a systems designer.
Yeah.
Right? Because to me, you identified that problem and then you systematically go about fixing it. And so the speed's involved in that and volume's involved in that. But what I see is a visionary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
You peek
That's really
around.
good.
You're peeking around the corner. I say this a lot lately.
Yeah.
I get into these swings where I say things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But and I'm saying this a lot lately. Like you being able to peek around a corner and see things that people can't. That to me is like, that's a superpower, man. That's
Yeah.
huge because a lot of people can't see it, right? And everybody's telling you you're crazy. You're telling me that they're telling you you're crazy and that you can't do this,
Yeah.
right? That takes and that can also be a lonely place. That can be a very lonely place to be. I know that to be true. So, again, I guess faith helps you
Yeah.
walk through that, right? And be able to see it. And I had a guest on last night that said the exact same thing to me. It was his faith. It's his faith that keeps him going. So, man, geez, I'm so happy you came.
Yeah.
I am so happy you came and did this with me, man. You believe it or not, you inspire me. I could be your dad. You know what I mean? Like that's how much age difference is between us, man. But when I see certain people and the frequency that they're on, the light that they carry, yeah, you definitely inspire me, man.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm gonna leave it there. I think we're gonna wrap it up, but I want to say, Zechariah, that when people hear your story, they'll likely see entrepreneurship, resilience, or success. But what I hear is someone who rewrote the story that believed about themselves and then built something so others would not have to feel overlooked in the same way.
Yeah.
And to me, that feels like it's a much deeper story. And that's what makes what you're doing is a beautiful thing. Because sometimes growth is not about becoming someone different. It's about finally seeing ourselves clearly enough to become who we're always capable of being. Right. So that kid that got suspended, that kid that didn't make, the NHL, there was a path for you and you're clearly on it. And I want to thank you for coming and spending some time with me today, man.
No problem. It was great.
Yeah. I hope we do it again.
Yeah.
We'll do it
for
again.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no problem.